Hello, welcome to everydayhdr.com. My name is Blake Rudis, and today I want to talk about black and white. More specifically, I want to talk about black and white and how your conversion may be affecting the color in your image. And a lot of people don't think about the color in their image when they convert to black and white, but you have to think about the color in your image when you convert to black and white, because it's not simply black and white. It's how a color is rendered on the grayscale that makes an image a great black and white image. So I did a written tutorial about this about 2 years ago on the blog. I'll go ahead and post that in this YouTube tutorial if you want to look at the written tutorial as well. You can also download this CMYK RGB color wheel I have made here as well to play with it on with your conversions. You might have a different conversion that I'm going to show you here. I'm going to show 6 different ways that you can convert your image to black and white and how it affects this CMYK RGB color wheel that is on a 50% gray background. And it's important to have that 50% gray background. You'll see in a second here. So let's just get into this. The first way of converting an image to black and white is to go to Image, Mode, Grayscale. It's asking right now, do you want to discard your color information? Now, I probably would never use the grayscale conversion. It has its place in other methods, but it's asking right now, do you want to discard color information? If you want to go back, you really can't unless you go into the history palette, blah, blah, blah. But if you saved it this way, you can't get your color information back. So we'll just say discard for the sake of this tutorial. Now we'll bring in our image. And this will be the same thing. So we're going to go ahead and go to Image, Mode, Grayscale. We'll go ahead and merge them just for grins. Okay. So now I'm going to take this color wheel and I'm going to bring it over here so that we always have this embedded right here so we can take a look at all these together once we're done. Okay. So now I'm going to go back. That's your first method, the grayscale method. And now we're going to do desaturate. This one's kind of fun. Now this is going to show you what happens when you desaturate the colors in your image by going to Adjustments palette, go to Hue Saturation, and drop the saturation down. All of your colors have now been converted into a 50% gray. Let's watch that again. Remove all saturation from the color, and it's now 50% gray. Let's see what that does to our image over here. So we're going to go to Hue Saturation and drop the saturation down. And we'll go ahead and move this over. All right. We're going to look at all these together in a second here. So let's just get through these first and then we'll talk about them, okay? The next one is going to be the channel mixer. Now, you can do this again through the adjustments panel here. You go to channel mixer and click monochrome. And now you can adjust the colors in your image individually by your RGB sliders here. So you can start to push and pull out what you want to push and pull out of it to see what's going to happen to your image and what happens to your colors when you do that. So you can see all these secondary colors, we pretty much lost them when we move that blue slider over. We bring them back in and we're starting to get those secondary colors. These are secondary colors, these are primary colors. Again, you can see what's happening to your colors as you bring that in. So let's go ahead and move this channel mixer slider or adjustment layer right over onto what we've done here. So we'll go ahead and flatten this, and then we'll go ahead and flatten this, and we'll bring this over. Now, more specifically, you can actually do some pretty cool stuff with the channel mixer on your photograph itself. So let's do that real quick. Let's go back and let's take this channel mixer one off of here, and let's do the channel mixer on here and then see what happens afterwards, so we can kind of get a good feel of what that channel mixer would look like if we were trying to make this a good black and white image with the channel mixer. Okay. So the other thing about the channel mixer that's pretty cool is that they have custom presets in there. So you can go to a custom preset and go to black and white with an infrared filter, or black and white with the red filter, or a green filter. So you can do some pretty cool things with that. We'll go with this green filter one and bring that over onto our other layer over here. Now you see what happens when we use that green filter with the channel mixer. It's turning all of those primary and secondary colors black on the left hand side. That's going to be your red, magenta, and blue. Pretty interesting. So we'll go ahead and move this over onto our other image. That's what we'll do. I like that better. That sounds like a good idea. Okay. So next one is the black and white adjustment layer. This one's pretty cool too. It works kind of like the channel mixer, so that's what we'll go ahead and work the. We'll go ahead and work the black and white channel mixer first, and then bring it over to our RGB CMYK color wheel to see what happened. Again, you get to that by going to adjustments and going to black and white, or white if you want to say it like that. I don't really like when people say it like that. Sorry if you say it like that. I'm not saying I don't like you. I just don't like it when people say white or what or why or where. It sounds weird. You can see as you play with the sliders here. I say play, but maybe I should say experiment. As you experiment with the sliders, you can see how that black and white conversion is affecting the color in your image. So that looks pretty interesting. Let's go ahead and take that over to the color wheel. Not too bad. We still have some black here where these colors have pretty much gone to black, but we're going to bring that over. And go back. Now, lab mode. This one's kind of interesting. You actually have to go to image, mode, and lab color. We'll go ahead and merge them because we're going to merge them anyway. Go to channels and take the A channel and the B channel and delete them. And that's going to give you the lab version of that mode. It's kind of difficult to edit in lab mode. So after you've made your black and white image in lab mode, just go to image mode and then change that to grayscale. You see you're kind of restricted to just grayscale here. And then if you want to add color to it, go back to image mode and then RGB. I made an action for this. It makes it really fast and easy for me if I want to do lab mode. So let me go and use that action real quick on here so I don't have to go through all that again. So that's lab mode. We'll go ahead and bring that right over. And the last one is my absolute favorite. This one is the gradient map. And the gradient map is done exactly the same way with the adjustments palette. Again, you go to adjustments, go to gradient map, and this will actually map the color in its gradient for grayscale, if that makes any sense. It'll take whatever color it sees there and map it to the 10 point, what I think is closest related to the greats like Ansel Adams. Ansel Adams had the 10 point grayscale, and that's pretty much what this is doing here. So we'll go to gradient map, and it doesn't look right here, and that's fine. The reason why it doesn't look right because the colors in my palette that were selected were black and blue. That's okay. Just go ahead and click this gradient map here, select that one, and you're good to go. Now, what I like about this one is that you get the most drama and strong effect in black and white. And when I see a black and white photo, I want to see a difference between black and white. A lot of times when people say they made a black and white conversion, you'll see like a 50% gray. There's no black and there's no white. It's missing the stars of the show. And I think that the gradient map is one of the best ones to bring those stars in the show back. Now, let's see what happens with the gradient map when we do it right here on our RGB color wheel. You see here we have the most accurate depiction of these colors now. Every one of these colors portrays a different grayscale gradient, which is unlike any of the other ones that we saw before. So we go ahead and flatten that one down. We'll go and bring it over. And now let's go ahead and look at these all together. So we got gradient map, we got lab mode. And then we've got the black and white adjustment layer. And then we got the channel mixer. And we got desaturate. And we've got grayscale. So out of all of these, the grayscale here is still a little white. It doesn't really bring all of the darks into the image very well. Desaturate, we've lost a lot. There's no depth to this image. It's pretty much a 50% gray representation of what we had before. It's got some black and some white in it, but not nearly as much drama as the gradient map. So my preferred method is definitely going to be the gradient map, or maybe even lab mode. I like lab mode too. I like how that comes across. And the channel mixer and the black and white one are great, especially if you're working with an image. And let's say you take a picture of a girl and she's got a bright red shirt on. And you want to tone that shirt down in the black and white. You just go ahead and drop that red slider down a little bit, and it'll tone down that shirt a little bit. If there's a color that stands out and you want to heighten it up in your black and white image, you can go ahead and use that black and white slider too. My go-to is the gradient map, and one of the coolest things about the gradient map is that if you change the blend mode to luminosity, which we probably aren't going to see it here. Let's see. Oh, no, I changed the wrong thing to luminosity. Let's see. Oh, yeah. If you change the gradient map to luminosity, it really just punches up that image. So all that punchy black and white that you saw in the grayscale image right here, change it to luminosity, and you've got a nice punchy, great way to add instant drama to an image. On top of being, in my opinion, the best way to make a black and white conversion. So if you want to see how your black and white conversion is affecting the colors in your images, feel free to download this CMYK RGB color wheel from the blog. I'll go ahead and post that right here in the YouTube channel. If you're on the blog right now, you'll see it right here listed on the blog page for this video tutorial. That'll take you to the written tutorial. At the bottom of the written tutorial, you can go ahead and download that RGB CMYK color wheel. Again, this is www.everydayhdr.com. My name is Blake Rudis, and I hope this helped you understand black and white conversions a little bit better and exactly what is happening to the color specifically in your image when you go to black and white. Thank you, and have a great weekend.